Hey, what's up everyone? It's Rich. Yeah, that was basically the score that you remember in this movie. What's up everyone? I am back with another review, and this time for the movie King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan. I love the King Arthur lore, that mythology. I love that story. I've been, Sword in the Stone, frickin' Merlin, TV show, just the overall mythology of it. I eat that shit up. And with that said, I was looking forward when they announced this movie. I was like, oh snap, another King Arthur, retelling of this popular mythology, popular story, and also Guy Ritchie directing it. I was like, I'm in. I'm freaking in. Obviously, the last movie we've had of King Arthur was, I believe, in the early 2000s. Oh gosh, Clive Owen and Keira Knightley were in that movie, and it was. I liked it. I liked that movie. I remember watching it, and I remember I actually do have that on DVD, and I remember liking that movie a lot. But it was one of those things where, like, I don't know. The thing with King Arthur is that you have to remember that there's also magic in that world, and in that movie there was no magic at all. At least from what I remember, I don't remember magic anywhere near that movie. And so in this movie, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, directed by Guy Ritchie and stars freaking a pretty great cast, a pretty good, decent cast. You have Charlie Hunnam, you have Astrid Burgess-Fils-Bey. I'm gonna go with Fils-Bey on this one. Jude Law, Djimon Hounsou, Eric Bana, Aidan Gillen, and amongst other great supporting characters in this movie. And and also somehow she made it into this movie, but Katie McGrath is in this movie. And if y'all don't know Katie McGrath, she was in this TV show Merlin, which I thought was awesome, by the way. And she played Morgana in that freaking show. Merlin's basically Smallville. Like, this is Merlin before he was Merlin, and King Arthur before he was King Arthur, just like how Smallville was pretty much Clark Kent before he was Superman, even though in the later seasons he was pretty much basically Superman. Anyways, we're not talking about Superman, we're talking about freaking King Arthur. But yeah, Merlin, awesome TV show, and he kind of had the red and blue. Anyways, I digress. When the trailer dropped for this movie, instantly you see magic, and right then and there I was like, there we go. There you go. They're embracing, or at least in the trailer, they're embracing the magic with the mythology itself. And after watching this movie, I will say that I actually enjoy this movie. I actually enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Now, is it a freaking amazing, great movie? I think there's some greatness in it, but on top of that, overall, I thought I enjoyed it. It was one of those movies where it was a solid movie. It felt very... There's parts of this movie where it felt very video gamey. And as a gamer myself, I ate that shit up also. And on top of that, it's a Guy Ritchie film, and so if you guys know who Guy Ritchie is, he has this fast-paced kind of editing, and it goes back to he has a different method of storytelling, and I don't know if it worked in this movie. I thought it did. I like the fact that it was one of those things where he compressed the story itself, so there's a lot of montages here and there. And in a way, it's this storytelling where it's like fast-paced, cut, this is what happened, bam, 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 thank you, ma'am. And for me, I thought it worked. With that said, though, there's a part in this movie, in the middle of the movie, where King Arthur has to go to this island, and that's not a spoiler, but he has to go to a specific place to kind of find out, to harness, in a way, Excalibur. And I would have loved to seen I guess, again, in this case, montage again, explored a lot more. In the beginning, when he was growing up, I thought that one worked, but in the middle, I thought I wanted more of the actual mythology itself, or of how he harnessed. Well, once again, my reviews are always non-spoilery unless I actually do want to talk about it more, but in this case, it's not that. He was, towards the end, he pretty much harnessed Excalibur. Like, we all know that, okay, if you don't know King Arthur, he gets Excalibur, and frickin' he harnesses that power, right? In this movie, this movie is definitely the origin story of before he was even King Arthur and before he harnessed that power of Excalibur. And in this case, he harnessed it in a different way. Not so much when he went to the island, but I thought that sequence right there could have added more, maybe character work in this case, if you know, not compress it and make it into a monstrous. But for me, I thought it worked also. I don't know what it is. I know for some people out there it didn't really work. I've read some reviews that maybe this story could have been told as a traditional story instead of having this Guy Ritchie film to, or not film, but flavor to it. But I thought it worked for me. I like the fast editing. I like the montage. I was like, all right, cool. Let's keep this story going. And it's one of those things where I would love to see a sequel to this movie, but with that said, this movie is not gonna make a lot of money. On top of that, it had a crazy amount of budget making this movie, and I believe this opening weekend is only tracking less than 20 million. Yeah. With all that said, I thought King Arthur, Charlie Hunnam himself, I thought he was great as King Arthur. He definitely had that you know, that brash vibe to him where he's not King Arthur just yet, right? So he was finding his way on why he's doing these things, and also why he is who he is. You know, it's like, it's kind of like, to be honest with you, it's kind of like Man of Steel, where in Man of Steel, you know, Clark Kent was trying to figure out who he is, and he technically he wasn't Superman just yet, even though when he did put on the suit, he wasn't even Superman. He wasn't the Superman that we know and love. And in this case, that's kind of the way Arthur is here. He's not King Arthur yet, he's just Arthur. With his, you know, I was about to say Merryman, that's fucking Robin Hood. But with his pretty much other knights, right? Eventually. And which is actually a cool thing towards the end. Not gonna spoil anything, but if you guys know your King Arthur, you know, mythology, you know, there's a little hint to hopefully what a sequel would be like. But let's be honest, I don't think it's gonna be made. Yeah, especially like I just said a few moments ago, with the way with the way it's coming along, it's not gonna make a lot of money. Hopefully the international money comes in and frickin', you know, makes it a lot of money. Which is basically how Pacific Rim 2 is getting made, because it didn't make a lot of money domestically, but internationally it made tons of money. So hopefully this is that case for this movie. So, characters, King Arthur, I thought he was great. Jude Law, he was fine. He was fine. I mean, it's one of those things where in this kind of story, I'm not really looking for a crazy awesome villain, even though in this case, you know, he was pretty much power hungry. But I will say though, the mage in this movie, Astrid, played by Astrid Burgess Frisbee. I'm gonna go with Frisbee on this one. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Astrid. But I thought she was fine also. There are times where she was very one note. Maybe I could have used a little bit more dimension, or maybe even a little bit more different fluctuations of her voice. I don't know. I'm not an actor, but she felt very one note to me. But I thought she was cool just because she was, you know, she's the freaking mage and all this stuff. What I love about this film is that they embrace the magic, and there's quite a bit of magic here. In a way, I wish I could have seen more of it, but you actually see a good amount of magic in this movie, especially when Astrid's character is around, or also when, you know, Excalibur is in play. And what I mean by that is this movie is a very, like I said earlier too, is that it's very video gamey. There's times where it's just like, this feels like a video game, which was awesome for me. I love video games, but in a way, it's one of those things where, like, maybe it could have used a little bit more traditional storytelling or a traditional way to do it, but I don't know. For me, the video game aspect worked for some reason. Maybe that's because I'm a gamer, and so for me, I kind of related to that. Basically, there's when Arthur puts two hands on Excalibur, he pretty much goes into this Excalibur mode where he's just freaking fucking shit up, just killing everyone, and it's freaking awesome. But with that said, there is a part of this movie where it maybe could have used less of that, and maybe more shot in a non-video gaming way, because let's be honest, if you guys have seen the movie, there's pretty much a the final boss fight, and it's just like, oh yeah, totally a video game. And also some of the CG here and there were kind of spotty. Like you can tell that it was a CG character since it's just CG environment. The thing with CG and visual effects is that if you can't tell that it's real or not, or let me take that back. A great CG effect or visual effect is when you don't notice it at all. It's when you're just looking at the picture, you're like, oh yeah, everything seems so real here. Oh wait, what? That was CG? That is a perfect example of great CGs when you can't even tell at all if it is CG or not. In this case though, there are a few, especially in Excalibur mode, where it's just like, yep, that's CG. Totally CG. But last but not least, one of the things I do love about this movie is the score. Now, I love the score. There's a very distinct music that they play throughout the whole movie, and I thought that score they played it quite a bit, but it's one of those things where like that is the theme for this movie. Like nowadays there's not really a lot of I guess theme or scores for a specific character, and so hearing that that specific score, for me it's like, okay, that's King Arthur's score. This is the score for this movie. Basically how the DCEU is kind of doing it, where Wonder Woman has her own score. Dun, 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 dun. She has that rock freaking metal guitar, and then the freaking bass goes along, and then obviously you have Man of Steel where it's like dun 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 dun, right? And then you do hear the Batman score also, a little bit of Batman score in BVS, but basically in King Arthur Legend of Sword, I thought the score was fantastic. If there's one thing that I thought was great about this movie, is the freaking score. Overall, I thought this movie was a really good movie. I don't know if I would think it's a great movie. There's times that it was kind of it was a little slow, I guess. I don't know what it is. It didn't really pop to me as much, but I enjoyed this movie overall. There's definitely greatness in this movie, and I would love to see a sequel to this movie, even though they did set it up not knowing if it's gonna make any money or not. But we'll see. I hope it makes a lot of money internationally, so we can get a freaking proper sequel to this, because the setup of this movie is just, it's good. It's really good, and I hope that I want to see a sequel directed by Guy Ritchie also. So there's that. I thought this movie was a really good movie, a solid movie. Again, there's greatness in this movie, but I don't think it's great at all. And as far as my rating goes, I'm gonna give King Arthur 7.5 round tables out of 10. Pretty cool, because it kind of ties into, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm not saying anything, but my score kind of ties into the movie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Alright everyone, that is it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my review, go ahead and click that like button, and also if you like what you see here, click that subscribe button as well. So King Arthur, have you guys seen it? Will you guys go check it out? Do you guys love the King Arthur mythology, or just that whole story alone? The Arthurian legend? Is that what you would call it? King Arthur mythology. There we go. Do you guys know what it is? But yeah, will you guys go watch it? And if you did, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie. And that is it, folks. That is it. Until my next review, which is going to be next week, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be watching Alien Covenant. I'm excited for that. But that is it for now, y'all. I am Rich, and I am out. Thanks for watching. And remember, stay awesome, my friends.